Hello guys, I just want to thank you for being here and watching our videos today. You might see a familiar face here. Today I have Adrienne Green back with us. I'm super excited to get to chat with her today and catch up with her and get to know what she's been doing for the last couple of years.
Hi, Tevan. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited for us to chit chat about all the updates, Chattanooga real estate, and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
So since I left Auburndale Group, now T&G Homes, to you and Gina and your amazing caring hands, shortly after that, I started traveling full-time with my family. And we've been traveling internationally for most of that time. So over a year and a half now, we have visited 5 continents as a family. The kids haven't been to Australia yet, so we still have that and Antarctica to go. But we have our virtual staffing business, right, where we help entrepreneurs get virtual assistants. I have some courses and consulting to help real estate investors specifically with that virtual assistant piece of their business. And so both of those are totally online. And so we really enjoyed going to different countries, living there, and it's been really fun for us and the kids to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you guys have plans to go to Antarctica and Australia?
We tentatively have plans to do Australia next year, depending on some other stuff. And then, yes, we would like to go to Antarctica. My youngest, Theo, loves penguins, obsessed. And so it's kind of crazy to say, but like we kind of plan our travel around really cool penguin experiences. Like in December, we're going to go to Japan for a few days because in northern Japan, the zoos and aquariums do these like penguin parades. When it's snowy, the penguins come out of their enclosure and do this little like walk parade that you can like,
oh, wow.
Just like you'd watch a parade, you can stand there and like have the penguins walk right by. So that's a long way of saying, yes, we want to go to all 7 continents and especially Antarctica because it has penguins. So it's just probably a matter of when and not if.
That's awesome. Well, you guys sound like you've had a lot of fun for the last couple of years.
We have. It's been an adventure.
It's always an adventure with kids, and I can't imagine doing it with 3 of them, but it looks like you guys handle it well.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So Adrienne, if you don't know Adrienne, which I'm sure that you do if you've been around long enough, Adrienne owned the team before Gina and I took over. She was it 3 years, 3.5?
Running the team? It was the team part was a little over 2 years. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Running the team.
So I was on Adrienne's team, and that's how I got into purchasing the team. So I was a buyer's agent and now own T&G Homes. But so Adrienne moved to Chattanooga to invest. Am I correct in saying that? So tell us a little bit about that decision.
Yeah. So in 2020, with everything that 2020 entailed, my husband and I were already real estate investing. We lived in Northern Virginia at the time, and Northern Virginia is a great market for appreciation, and that's about it, right? It's very difficult to find things that are even in the black. And this was back when like numbers were better, like the late 2000 teens, right? And interest rates were a lot lower. And so we found some places locally. We were investing in Northern Virginia. We had bought a short-term rental in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And then with 2020, we were kind of like, hey, we don't have to live in Northern Virginia. And with COVID and everything like that, like, is this where we want to continue living? If we could live anywhere in the US, we were kind of like thinking of that at the time, where would we want to live? And real estate, investing was one of the reasons Chattanooga came to mind. My first criteria was really, I wanted, we had just had our 3rd child in March of 2020. And so I wanted a place where there's a lot to do with kids, but where it maybe wasn't so much of a hassle to do it as it was in the Northern Virginia, DC area, where it was like, we'd have to drive over an hour each way to go to the Washington Nationals baseball game. And it was going to cost at least a few $100, even back then, probably more expensive now, to get just basic tickets and parking and all this. And it was this huge hassle just to go to a baseball game, which is something that I enjoy. And so my criteria was, if we were going to move, I'd like to move to a place that had like a minor league baseball team. Myrtle Beach has that. And I was like, this is where a city has enough going on that I won't get bored, but it's not going to be such a hassle, so many crowds, so much cost to go do it. And so I actually looked up online, where are minor league baseball teams? I used that as a criteria. Chattanooga came on that list. Honestly, I had only been to Chattanooga like twice before in my life. I'd never even spent the night. It just been like day trips. And so then in the fall of 2020, when we visited our properties in Myrtle Beach, we came through Chattanooga to check it out. We liked it. We went under contract on a house, and we moved here about 6 weeks later. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you guys got started investing in Chattanooga and why you continue to do so.
Right. And I didn't really talk about, okay, so we were like, okay, it's got a minor league baseball team and it's
Yes.
great for real estate investing, which was a very exciting piece of that puzzle. And so what we did when we moved is we bought a house that we knew would work for now, and that would be a good rental if or when we decided to move on to something else, right? Kind of like that house hacking idea, right? And so that's what we did first. We bought a house that wasn't like, oh, this is our dream home. It's like, hey, we're here for a few days. We know we want to move here. Let's see what we can find that works for us and will be a good rental in the future. So that's what we did to start. And we moved in there November of 2020. And then I forget exactly what our timeline was, but in early 2020, rates were low and we had done cash out refis on all of our properties that we'd already owned. So we had this cash and we were able to redeploy it into the Chattanooga market, which, as you know, one of the great things about Chattanooga is it really has great opportunities for a variety of different investors, right? It's got like the C class for people who want a deal. It's got multifamily, single family, and it's got value add like BRRRRs, or it has rent ready. And so I ended up accumulating like a small portfolio of single family homes in Chattanooga that were long-term rentals, although it has great short-term rentals and mid-term rentals as well. For me, it worked to get single family home long-term rentals there. We did a few flips as well, but we mostly accumulated a portfolio of that during my time there, and we continue to have most of those, and they do really well. Like, they have appreciated a good amount in that time. The tenants have been pretty easy, and it's definitely been a win.
That's awesome. So tell me about what kind of areas you're purchasing when you're purchasing in Chattanooga.
So for me personally, my investment strategy tends to be like a B class area, because I do want them to cash flow. I do want it to be good in that regard. So I'm not going with the A class, right, where we might have better appreciation. You've got the premium schools and, the cachet. That's not going to have the cash flow I want. Right. C class is going to be a little more labor intensive potentially to manage, right? And I do self-manage most of my properties using a virtual assistant to help with all the admin work. And so B class for me has been that nice middle ground of, it's got good cash flow, it's typically got appreciation, and it has pretty low maintenance tenants that stay for, a few years, which has made it easier. So that's looked like, I know we had some houses in Red Bank, and around that has been that kind of region north of the river up there. For me, has been what's worked out well. Different neighborhoods within that. Some may be City of Chattanooga, some might actually be City of Red Bank, but they're all kind of in that general region up on the north side.
That's awesome. And you have your rents keep going up as you hold on to your investments, because that's something that we're seeing too across the board is in B class and A class. Obviously, the rents that people are expecting, they're getting more, and they're able to raise it, year after year, and it's still holding its value. So I think that's something really cool about Chattanooga too.
Yeah, it's been pretty easy to rent these out. I can remember like one time total out of all the properties and all the re-rents we've had over the years where it's been like, oh, it took a couple months on the market. The rest of those we're talking, under a month between when the old tenant moves out and you do whatever renovations are needed and you've got the new tenant in. It can even be back to back at times. If we were able, like when we were still there, we would maybe list it for rent before the other one moved out, and we would do rent increases every time that tenant is turned over, for sure. And there was one time, Tevan, I'll tell you, we had a house, this is still when we were in Chattanooga, and we listed it for rent, and we had so much interest right away. And this was a little further north. We have one kind of like in the Saudi Daisy area. So again, north of town, but just further north than Red Bank. And we'd bird it. So it was recently renovated. And my husband went to like do a showing for like everybody who's interested, here's our time, here's an hour, you come in during that time, right? And there were multiple people there, and they all wanted to move in like now. And I think we had it listed at like around 2,200 maybe in rent. And he was like, guys, this is a bit of a bidding war. Like, you can offer more. And we ended up, I think the people had pets and some other things, but we ended up getting like 2,400 a month for it. Like, we got over our asking rent for it because there was so much demand.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that house, if I remember correctly, had a few amenities too, because those people had like a camper and there was space, and like that's a good thing. I know people, when they think about Chattanooga, they think about wanting to be in downtown or close to downtown, but we have some certain sub areas outside of downtown that offer great things like that. So people who have a camper, they have a boat, or they have they want space for their children to run outside. Like some of these sub areas, 10, 15, 20 minutes outside of downtown are great for those. So they're willing to pay that extra rent.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. They had a camper and we had the parking spot for it. And those same tenants are still in the house now. So I think they're on year 3, I want to say, that they've continued to renew. And so, yeah, and they've been easy tenants. They always pay on time. And the only challenge we've had is, and this is, I will say, atypical, because it's the only one we've had like this in Chattanooga, but the renovation, some of the things where like we've had some things that have broken from the renovation where we've had to fix them, and the tenants have let us know about this. But out of all the houses we've burred or things like that, that's the one. Sometimes you just get that lemon or whatever where things haven't worked out. But overall, the tenants are still happy. They're still there. We just have had to have a handyman go out a few times.
That's awesome. Well, and tell me how you use your virtual admins to like help you manage these houses.
Yeah. So, in Chattanooga, like I said, my portfolio is long-term rentals there. I also have 3 short-term rentals in Myrtle Beach. And between all of them, it could be a lot of work to manage with self-management. And so, and how the short-term rentals are, especially, they can just be all the guests and all the cleaners, the handyman. And so I have a full-time virtual assistant, and he does all my property management stuff. And then he also kind of works as an executive assistant, helping with my courses and consulting as well. So he has plenty of time to do all of that. And it's amazing. So we use technology, right? We're using apartments.com or Hospitable or things like that to help manage the rentals. And then he's doing 95% of the people part. So like when I say a guest or a tenant, let's say in Chattanooga, has anything that's an issue in the house, right? Anything that's broken, malfunctioning, anything they need, they are calling or texting our property management phone number, which is a virtual phone number that can go both to me and to the virtual assistant. So he handles it during his 40-hour work week and everything like that. I just handle if there's an emergency the rest of the time. And so somebody will say, hey, the most recent issue is our old primary, which we've rented out, has a hot tub, and the hot tub cover is getting really worn. And so like my virtual assistant is calling the company that we bought it from, asking about a replacement, like doing comparison shopping and all that. And then he's just going to bring me, here are the top 3 options. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's what it's going to cost. And I make the decision between those. And that's kind of like for anything that's atypical or anything that pops up as like needing extra help. He's finding the service provider we need. He's getting different quotes. And then he's just coming to me with the high level like decisions that I need to make to spend the money that we need to spend to fix it.
That's really awesome. Well, I'll chime in for just a second. So my team cannot function without our virtual assistants that Adrienne sourced. They are fantastic. I say that they're 5 steps ahead of me every single day, and they know what I need before I even know that I need it. So if that's something that intrigues you, I'll put Adrienne's contact information obviously here in this video and down below. So reach out to her if that's something that you're looking for.
It makes me so happy, Tevan, to hear about how they help so much, because I've seen it for myself, and it's just like a great executive assistant, like a virtual assistant who's your executive assistant, like you have on the team. They're really like your right hand, and they just, once you get used to them, it's hard to live without them.
It really is. And like I tell her all the time, I mean, she solves problems and then she'll tell me the next day there was a problem. I never knew anything was going on. Like, and that's just extra stress off of my plate, so I can focus on, finding deals for people and running numbers for people. So she gives me the free time to do what I need to do that is beneficial for me and my clients, and she handles everything else. So It's perfect.
That makes me so happy.
Absolutely. Well, I know that you're into consulting. Tell me a little bit about that aspect and what kind of clientele are you looking for?
Sure. So As you know, my passion is like, hey, let's run things like a business. And a big part of that is having that team. That was one of the key things that made the team that you got like an actual business and not just me as a person buying and selling houses, is that we had these virtual assistants, we had the technology, we had the systems. And so what I do now is I help real estate investors do that. And specifically, I've got some courses to help real estate investors with that virtual assistant piece, because it's tough. It's tough to figure out and do well. And there's a ton of VA fails. And so like a couple things I have is I have a course that real estate investors can buy for their virtual assistants to take to learn how to be like a great executive assistant. So I put together, because we all have the VAs that frustrate us instead of help. If you've had enough VAs, you've had that experience. So I put together a training of here's all the things that a VA needs to know to be a great executive assistant for an investor. And that's a course that investors can get for their assistant, like for their virtual assistant. Or I have a course, a couple options if people are looking to hire a VA. If you don't have one yet as an investor, I have like a do-it-yourself course that walks you through all the pro tips and how to get a virtual assistant with a lot of tools and resources like that, templates, so you don't have to start from scratch, right? It's got like a job description template, a job listing template, interview template, things like that. So I have, if people want to do the DIY course, or I have our virtual staffing business if people would prefer the done for you option, where we handle everything and really provide a concierge service for them. So I think those are the three main things I'd highlight, that if some of the real estate investors are listening or looking in the VA route or have a VA, might be a help to them.
Well, that's really awesome. And again, I'll just say I can't live without mine. So I think that if it's something that you have been thinking about, at least talk to Adrienne and figure out an option that might work best for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think you're also doing something else in Chattanooga and in other areas I've been seeing, but you guys are doing private money lending, correct?
Yes, and that has been so exciting as well. I'm just loving everything I'm doing. I'm like, it's also exciting right now, but it's cool because we're helping a lot of people. And fun fact for people who didn't know this about me, I was a high school math teacher before I got into real estate. And so it just makes me happy when I get to help people and make a difference, for sure. I still have that teacher's heart. So what we're doing is a long tangent there, but to get back to your question, another thing that I've been scaling up this year in 2025 has been my private money lending. So my husband and I really fell into private money lending back when I had the team in Chattanooga, because we had clients that were really struggling to have success with the hard money lenders that were out there, right? Like as a team, as agents, we do email intros to new buyer clients, like here are these hard money lenders that should be able to help you. The hard money lenders would never reply. There'd be crickets, or they would reply, but then 2 days before closing, oh, we can't close on time and stuff like this. It was crazy. And so when we had some stuff, like my husband changed jobs and we were able to tap into his retirement for lending, we started doing that really just to solve our clients' problems. But lending has gone. And so honestly, I didn't really think about it as like some great investment strategy. It was just like, hey, we're doing this, it makes good money, it helps clients. But then we kept doing it even after I, stopped having the team in Chattanooga. And this year we're like, you know what? It makes great money. It helps people. It's easy to do remotely. And we're doing it really well. Like we've got great systems, we've got great returns. And so we started scaling it up this year, which means two things. One, we help other investors. So if someone is a real estate investor who doesn't want or cannot do the flipping or buy the long-term rental, or they just want to diversify from that, or they've got cash that they want to invest for, let's say, 4 to 6 months between doing flips, we can take those investors on and they can partner with us in our lending deals that we do. And then because we're able to take on those investors, we also have more money to help more borrowers. So we mostly lend on value add deals like flips or BRRRRs. And so we'll go in as we have to be the first position lender. So it doesn't work with seller financing. It doesn't work if you've got another lender involved, but we will lend, depending on your experience and things, we will lend if you're a repeat if you're a repeat client with us, we can even lend on 100% of your purchase and renovation cost, not for new clients, but for repeat clients. So we can be the only lender you need for both that purchase and that renovation to do that flip or to do that burr. And we work in Georgia, Tennessee, and many other states as well. It just depends on what their laws allow. But we honestly most of our loans are in the Tennessee market right now. And it's really cool to see these people who are flipping and burring, like these investors. They are amazing people who are hustling to better their lives. And then they put these beautiful houses onto like the housing supply for people. They took something that was so ugly and not something people would want to live in, unsafe, unsanitary, and they make them these beautiful places that people get to call home. So I love that we're doing this. We're helping people who want to invest passively. We're helping the ones who want to be active and want to flip and burr. And we're helping make more beautiful homes for people. So we love lending. That business is called Invest Away. If you guys Google it, I'm sure the page will show up, or you can reach out to me about Invest Away. And we're doing lending and would love to help someone with that.
That's really awesome. And yeah, I mean, you guys, I think, are pretty busy. I mean, I see it on Facebook all the time that you guys, we just landed on this, or we just, so it's been awesome to see that. And I know our clients have used it in the past, so it's been great for them. So that's a really exciting. So again, Adrienne's contact information is going to be down below. So if you need that private money lending, or you want to reach out to talk to her about that, it will be down there for you. Mm-hmm. Well, Adrienne, I'm so thankful that you stopped by to talk to me today. Adrienne and I worked together for so long, so it's been a little difficult for me to not be with Adrienne for the past, it's been 2 years now. That's crazy. So I'm glad that you stopped by. I appreciate all this information. I'm thankful you're still investing in Chattanooga, which means she believes in Chattanooga. Well, we're excited. We will chat again soon, and I just thank you again for being here.
Oh, I'm so glad we got to talk. Thank you, Tevan.
Absolutely.